right, viewers. You asked for it. We're bringing it. Our new segment, Call Wildwood TV. So this is very exciting segment because you, the viewers, will get to be on Wildwood TV, sort of. So if you'd like to call in, we have our whole crew here ready to talk to you. Just call in the same number, 267-353-4299, to get your chance to be on Wildwood TV. We'll wait for your calls, viewers.
So just call in and we will answer.
And it looks like we have our first call. Hello, viewer. You are on the air. Could you start by telling us your name?
I'd like to place an order.
Excuse me?
I'm sorry, what?
I like 2 cheeseburgers.
Okay. I'm sorry, but this isn't McDonald's.
Side of fries. Caesar salad, extra dressing.
We're very confused.
Viewer, we're going to have to let you go. Thank you for calling in. Alright, we'll wait for another call here. Maybe we'll get someone who doesn't think they're ordering food.
Not McDonald's, people. Not McDonald's. Call. Up there.
And it looks like we have another call. Hello, viewer. You are on the air. Could you start by telling us your name? Excuse me?
So, I'm just a little sad. No one knows if I could talk to somebody.
You're sad. Well, we are
sad.
here. Wildwood TV is here to talk to you.
We are here.
Oh, looks like we lost that one. We'll wait for another call. Wildwood TV. Yeah, I'll wait though.
We'll wait for your calls.
Hey, we have another call.
And hello, you are on the air right now. Could you please say your name?
Hi, this is Patricia Livingston.
Well, that is some name there. Would you like to tell us about yourself?
Well, I'd like to ask if you have any other broadcasting sites in the area to tune into.
Sorry, we are the best and the very, very only Wildwood Broadcasting, so if you need any news, come to us.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So my news is, what do you think the water temperature will be for the rest of the week?
It looks like we lost that call.
We got a new call.
This is Lena Mars' favorite aunt.
Hi
I'm
there.
sorry. State your name. Hello, viewer.
Looks like we got some dead air there. We'll end that one. Well, wait. I think we
We'll wait
lost.
for another call.
That viewer Patricia seemed pretty good. I think we lost her.
Yeah, we could get her
It'd be
back.
great to get her
or
back.
someone else. Yeah.
We wanted to hear what Patricia had to say.
And it looks like it's Patricia again. Hello, Patricia.
Hello.
How are you?
How are you?
Hi. Where did the 3 of you get your broadcasting degrees?
Well, we didn't really get any.
This is kind of a startup.
Yeah.
It's kind of a.
Oh.
As
very
millennials,
good.
we don't need degrees. We can just kind of do whatever we want. You know.
Oh, isn't that nice? Okay. Well,
Yeah.
thank you.
You're
Okay,
welcome.
bye. Okay, more callers would be amazing. So call right up there.
Hello. Keep answering.
Hi, viewer. How are you today?
How are you today?
I'm fine. How are you?
Oh, I'm great. Could you state your name for us?
Nenny.
Hi.
Why, hello, Nanny. Would you like to tell us about yourself?
Now we're getting some.
Would you like to tell us about yourself?
I am a wonderful nanny.
Let me ask
Really?
you something. What kind of kids do you babysit then?
Yeah, are they like awesome kids? Like really? I think we'll have to let you go. We'll see ya. Okay, any other callers? We'll be happy to help.
Make sure to keep putting it on speaker.
Okay. We have another call from another viewer. Looks like it's Patricia. Hi, Patricia.
Hey, how you doing?
My question for you all is why do you keep hanging up on us?
Whoa,
whoa.
You are like you. The question is, why are you hanging up on us? Not why are we hanging up on you?
The call ended.
Oh my gosh, this is insane.
Any other callers? Yeah. Right. Oh, sorry. Right up there. We'll be happy to help. We will.
Hey, we got a call.
Hey, hello. Who are you?
My name is Sheldon Lipson.
Sheldon Linson. That's some name you got there. Could you tell us about yourself? Caller, are you here?
I'm trying for your father to get me a job.
My father?
Your father.
Really? Because I never met you. Because I never met someone named Sheldon Litson. Hello?
Hello?
Hi.
Lipshit. It's Sheldon Lipshit.
Sheldon Lipson?
Real person.
Oh, it was a Sheldon Plankton. Just
Okay, we'll wait for some other callers up here.
some other callers.
People keep hanging up.
Here, can you do it by yourself?
Why, hello. Who are you? You're on the air right now. Please state your name.
Honey, if you hear about him again, you tell him to call me.
I'm sorry. What is your name? Wow, we got some crazy viewers here on... Any more calls? Oh, here we go.
Hello?
Hello, who are you?
You tell that crazy wife of mine that I don't know her nothing.
Bye. Any more callers would be great. Why, hello, who are you? Please state your name.
You tell that Sheldon Lipshit that he better bring my dog back to me because he took my dog when he left.
I'm sorry, we can't help you.
Tell
Personal problems.
Tell that to him.
Oh.
Hello, who is this?
Hi, this is Baby. Tell my parents to stop playing on TV.
I have no idea what you're saying. We'll see ya. Any more calls?
Any more good calls? Let's just say that.
Let's just have one that's not like mental. Any more calls? Why, hello, who is this?
Hello, caller. Are you
Hello,
there?
caller, you there?
Hello? Caller. And we lost her. Hello, how are you?
Hello, how are you?
My name is Teresa. I am a sane person. Please tell me the latest about North Korea.
North
Wow.
Korea. Well, we have. Oh shoot! I got rid of the North Korea stuff. On your screen. Oh.
Well, she left
She
us.
left, but we will gladly tell you about North
We will
Korea.
gladly take more calls
'Cause
and not worry. Oh my.
Who doesn't love a good North Korea story? So let's get that map back up.
Hello, caller. Who are you?
Look at that map.
My name is Bertha Schultz.
This is Bertha Schultz. Everyone, can you tell us about yourself?
I would like to talk about that teddy I see in the background.
Oh,
I'd like
that's.
to buy that teddy bear.
No! You cannot buy teddies here. We'll see ya. Bye. Any more calls will be great. Any more calls? We haven't got one from that Patricia girl. Yeah. Hello, who are you?
Hi, my name is Sue Robertson.
Sue Bobberton. Could you tell us about yourself? We would love to hear about you.
Well, I'm from Pennsylvania. I'm here in North Wildwood for some vacation. And I was hoping you could give me some restaurant ideas. Not really sure where to go for a nice dinner.
You could go to this place called the Surfing Pig. It is amazing.
It is on 10th Avenue, Delaware, so if you want to know the location for that, that is where it is.
Yeah, awesome.
That sounds great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Bye.
We'll see ya.
See you around.
Any more calls?
Oh, I'll be right back.
Any more calls? Why, hello, who are you?
Hi, my name is Mary Jo McGillicuddy.
Mary Jo McGillicuddy. Well, that is some name I've heard out here today. Could you tell us a little about yourself?
Well, I am from the West Coast.
West
and
Coast.
I'm in Wildwood for a couple weeks, and I want to know what are some of the fun things we can do here. Thank you.
Let's-
Bye.
Well, okay, you didn't. Well, that was really weird. She asked me a question, then she just said, okay, bye. Okay, any more calls? Any more calls would be great. Okay, we can get any more calls here. We could get some more calls. More calls. Well, wait. Well, callers. Okay, well, yeah.
Huh.
Just wait 1 sec.
Thank you for your viewership. We're going to close Wildwood TV for a little bit today. We hope you'll join us again when Wildwood TV comes back on. Thank you very
Bye.
much. Thanks.